there are few choices more beneficial to human health than changing from a standard American diet to a vegan diet, sometimes also known as a plant-based diet. However, plant-based diets can still include animal products, as they need only be plant-based. Adopting a vegan diet results in improved cardiovascular health, as well as a lower risk of obesity and diabetes, which are among the most common health challenges Americans face today. There are also many other benefits, but these are the ones that I'll be talking about in this video. So first, adhering to a vegan diet, or even just a plant-based diet, is good for your heart. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. Higher adherence to a plant-based diet is associated with a lower risk of cardiovascular disease, and higher consumption of animal products is associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. Diets consisting of predominantly plant foods and that are lower in animal foods were associated with a lower risk of incident cardiovascular disease mortality, and all-cause mortality in a general population. There are several reasons for this difference, including differences in saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, hypertension, and fiber. The American Heart Association recommends limiting saturated fat intake. Foods such as red meat, chicken skin, and dairy products such as butter, ice cream, and cheese are all high in saturated fat. Plant foods, on the other hand, are mostly quite low in saturated fats. The only substantial sources of plant-based saturated fat are coconuts, cocoa butter, and palm oil. Additionally, monounsaturated fats from plant sources are better for heart health than monounsaturated fats from animal sources. Plus, plant foods do not contain cholesterol, and according to Johns Hopkins Medicine, your body makes all the cholesterol it needs. And while there is conflicting evidence of the importance of avoiding dietary cholesterol, you're better off just avoiding it. Hypertension, or high blood pressure, increases the risk of heart disease. Vegans and vegetarians have significantly lower odds of hypertension compared to non-vegetarians. Proposed reasons for why a vegan diet confers the benefit of lower blood pressure include anti-inflammatory effects in plant-based foods, reduced blood viscosity, and changes that occur in the gut microbiota after changing your diet. And lastly, for heart health, vegan diets are typically high in fiber, especially if you're intentionally eating healthfully. The foods highest in fiber are all staples of a vegan diet: beans, avocados, whole grains, nuts, and berries. Of course, the people on the standard American diet will also consume these things, but likely in lesser proportions than those on vegan or plant-based diets. High fiber intake is associated with a decrease in cardiovascular-related mortality. Eating fiber-rich foods also reduced the incidence of coronary heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and colorectal cancer by 16 to 24%. Hand in hand with poor cardiovascular health, the standard American diet very often results in obesity. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 39.8% of U.S. adults are obese, and 71.6% of U.S. adults are at least overweight. BMI, which stands for Body Mass Index, is a measure of body fat, and therefore obesity. In most BMI standards, a BMI of less than 18.5 indicates being underweight. An 18.5 to 24.9 indicates having a healthy weight. A 25 to a 29.9 indicates being overweight, and a 30 or above indicates obesity. In a study of 60,000 people, divided by diet groups, vegan, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, pesco-vegetarian, semi-vegetarian, and non-vegetarian, the average BMI results were quite telling. Vegans were the only ones in the healthy weight range. BMI increased as animal product consumption increased. The BMI of the groups I just mentioned were 23.6, 25.7, 26.3, 27.3, and 28.8. Similarly, Americans struggle with diabetes due to their diets. 30.3 million Americans, which is 9.4% of the population, have diabetes, and a further 84.1 million have prediabetes. Diabetes was the 7th leading cause of death in the US in 2015. In the study I mentioned concerning BMI, the authors found that the prevalence of type 2 diabetes also increased along the same trajectory as BMI, to the point that vegan and lacto-ovo-vegetarian diets were associated with a nearly 1/2 reduction in risk of type 2 diabetes, compared with the risk associated with non-vegetarian diets, after adjustment for a number of socioeconomic and lifestyle factors, as well as a low BMI, that are typically associated with vegetarianism. In conclusion, adopting a vegan or a plant-based diet is an effective way to become more healthy and to decrease your risk of heart disease, obesity, and diabetes, as well as all-cause mortality. However, it isn't enough to simply adopt a vegan diet. You should adopt a healthful vegan diet. There are an endless variety of ways to practice a vegan or plant-based diet, and unhealthy diets, ones that include too many foods like refined grains, added sugars, and desserts, are actually associated with an increase in risk of heart disease. A healthful vegan diet includes whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes, and is a drastic improvement over a standard American diet. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was at least somewhat enlightening. If you like my channel and what I do and you want to see more of it, then please feel free to subscribe or share this around with your friends.